Hey, what's up YouTube? AlexTheAbstact here, coming back with another build video. Now this build video is a little unique. This build video is actually part 2 of a challenge that I did. So before I explain the challenge, I'll go ahead and do the house tour as it is. As you see, we went with a very blue kitchen theme here, and I don't know if you'll pick up on this. It's going to be a part where I spin the camera to the microwave and then to the pitcher, and the only two things in the kitchen besides the food itself that are not blue are the microwave and the actual shirt on the pitcher itself, if you don't include the fire alarm on the side of the wall either. So I thought that was kind of cool. It was very accidental, but then after looking at this again, I could see that. So we went through the living room, we went through the master bedroom, and now we're in the bathroom of the house, and then eventually we're going to go into the Poison Ivy themed room. If Poison Ivy were a child in her superpower, I feel like this would be a room she would grow up in. It wasn't intentional. It just came out that way, and I'm super satisfied with the way the room came out. So, as you can see, this is a little bit of a unique build. This is what I would like to call my aquarium home. And basically, okay, if you hear that noise, that's my ice machine. I apologize about that. There we go. It should stop now. We'll probably hear like some ice drop in a second. It'll sound like thunder. But back to the video. So like I said, this is part 2 of a video. As you can see, the house was nearly all the way decorated. The framework of the house is pretty much done. And now I'm going to go through and explain what the challenge is. So one day I was just thinking, what kind of challenge could I come up with? I've seen people do like the 10-minute complete house build. I've seen other people, you know, build an entire family in a certain amount of time. Another one was people decorating their home in a certain amount of time. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a challenge where I could basically create a challenge that was set around a block of time that had certain requirements that you must meet as far as building your home is concerned. I don't know why I'm struggling talking so much, but we're going to get through this. So basically, here's what I did. In the video link, I think at the very beginning of this video, you can see the initial challenge, and therefore you get a better explanation of the rules in that video. But for the time being in this video, I'm going to try to reestablish those rules. So the idea of this first build was I gave myself an hour. And within that hour, you take 5 features of the Sims build mode, whether it be decoration, whether it be room count, whether it be house level count, meaning is your house 1 floor, 2 floor, 3 floors, blah, 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 blah. You take 5 of these things, or you take a high volume of these things and you put them into a hat, shake them up, and then the first 5 that you pull out, those are the 5 things you must incorporate in your build. And so for this video, for this edition of the challenge I did, I gave myself an hour. I think I drew a pool as one of my items. I think I drew a living room. I'm sorry. I think I drew a basement as one of my items. I think I drew two bedrooms. And then I think a patio or an upstairs deck. I can't fully remember, and who knows? I might be talking out my you know what at this point, because it's been 2 or 3 very long weeks since I started the challenge. But what ended up happening in the video is, at the end of the challenge, you have to go through with your Sims room by room and make sure the core features of each room works. And in the challenge, each room must be fully decorated. What? Why am I having such a hard time using words that I use every single day of my life right now? What is going on? That's me being a little sleep deprived, which I will get into a little bit later. But so what ends up happening is the Sims walk through and you click on the core features of that room to make sure they all work. So in the kitchen, the fridge, can they access the refrigerator? Can they access all the chairs? Can they get water out of the sink? Do you have a sink? Living room, does a TV work? Or can they dance to the radio if that's the core piece of your living room? Can they sit in a chair? Bedroom, can they get into the bed? Can they use can they change clothes? Can they view themselves in the mirror? bathroom, can they access all the facilities of that room? So that was the challenge, in addition to being done with fully decorating each room by the end of the hour. So I failed. There were certain parts of the house that my sim wasn't able to utilize, and also I didn't finish my upstairs deck. I didn't finish making a pool lounge area, which is what I end up doing in this video. So, like I said, the challenge is fun. Do watch the challenge video, and I encourage you all, if you like the concept of it and you have some ideas of how to make it funner or how to make it better, leave me some comments below and we can make this a trending challenge. I would love to see how other people would utilize an hour without a scale or a model or blueprints on how to build their Sims house. And that's the reason you randomize the challenges, because it really forces you to be all the way creative within that hour or within that 30-20 minutes, however you would like to do your version of the AlexTheAbstact challenge. So that's that, and as I'll continue to talk, you'll just see me going through the different rooms and fine-tuning them into a polished product of a unique house. So in my life right now, the good, the bad, the ugly, the necessary. Right now, I think I'm a little like concerned. I've been like losing sleep. I've been kind of losing my mind a little bit over all these natural disasters that are going on right now in the world. Spending a lot of time and a lot of thoughts in prayer over our fellow Americans down in Texas and down in Florida, and being affected by the Florida situation, as some of my coworkers live in Florida. My favorite non-blood related family, as in my sister from a different mister, they have some family down in Florida, and so they actually ended up catching a JetBlue to Chicago and waiting for the storm to pass while they were resting in Chicago. So that was really scary. And then seeing all the news clips, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And then out here, we had a wildfire almost in my backyard. It was in Burbank, which is like 2 cities over, and I went driving at night to Burbank because I wanted to see the fire. I needed to know how close it was and if me and my family needed to evacuate. So at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I went driving to Burbank. I posted some video on Twitter, but basically imagine this. Imagine being in a very residential neighborhood. I'm talking like Leave It to Beaver or like Family Matters or a Disney Channel little safe looking street. So imagine being on this street and all these really nice, traditional looking homes, and it's California, so this street is actually aligned with palm trees. And so it kind of looks like that street that you see in every movie about Bel Air, where the streets are just literally lined with mansions, sidewalk, and then palm trees. It looks like a garden of trees that you're driving through the middle of. So, like I said, 3 o'clock, it's pitch black. I can smell the smoke, but I don't see the fire yet. And the street I'm going up has a pretty steep incline. And then once I get on the other side of the street, literally, it's like driving over a cliff or coming over the drop in a roller coaster. Once I get on the other side of the street and start arcing back down, so driving back down the hill, it looked like I was going to drive into the very pit of hell. The way the street was angled, it was basically hiding where the wildfire was. And then once you get over the wildfire or over the hill, what used to be this really pretty view of a mountain range is literally on fire. It was the scariest thing I have ever seen. And it was so close to these people's homes. So then, me being ignorant, I don't turn around and drive home. I drive closer to the fire because I want to see it. I want to see it better than what I can do there. And so as I'm getting closer to the fire on this specific street, the police have it blocked off to block idiots like me from getting too close and putting themselves in harm's way. So I end up pulling up on this cop car who's out there blocking the street. And he scares I almost cussed. He scares the snot out of me. He took like 5 years off my life. He scared me so much because I drove up on him and I was turning around. But, he's a police officer. He's on edge. My man jumps out the car, puts his red and blue sirens on. It's not making noise. It's just the light's very bright. And then he runs up on my car and he's got his weapon unpinned. It's still in the holster, but he's got his hand on his gun, and he says, "Can I help you?" And I'm just like, I lost. I was trying to get home. They got the streets blocked off. I'm new to Burbank. I don't live in no daggone Burbank. I don't live anywhere. I mean, I live close to Burbank, but it's like 3 cities separating where I live and Burbank from each other. So I'm just like scared out of my mind because it's a scary police officer who's like 6'5" and he's shredded. I feel like he's a fitness model in his night or in his daytime career since he's working at night as an officer. So I guess that's the correct terminology. But anyways, he's like Goliath in a blue suit, and then behind him is literally the pit of hell. It was a lot going on at once, so I freaked out. And I was just like, and not to mention, I'm in a neighborhood I don't live in, and it looks like people like me probably can't afford to stay in that neighborhood. Yeah, I'm being a little judgmental, but I'm talking about myself, so it's okay. So basically, he's way lighter, a different pigment. He doesn't have melanin in his skin, and I do. And you know how they've been treating us in the news as far as police officers have been going. And that's not to say all cops are bad cops, but still, as a black man, I get nervous every now and again. So he had that pistol drawn out, 3 o'clock. I'm in the wrong neighborhood, and there's the pit of hell behind him. It was a lot. It was a lot going on, needless to say. So I told him, I remember what street I was on, and I remember what street I turned off of to get on that street. And so I told him, oh, I stay at 77 blank said road. I'll keep the road private or whatever. And he was like, oh, okay. You need to turn around and go this way. And then to remove some of the awkwardness off, I'm like, not thinking, I just start speaking. And in my brain, I think subconsciously, I'm like, let me tell him I'm not a threat by asking a very neutral question. And so the first thing I ask him is, it's so stupid. Man, it's so stupid. Hey, do you know any donut shops that are open this time of night? That is like the most stereotypical thing to ask a police officer, especially at 3 o'clock at night. Like, what donut shops are open at 3 o'clock at night in Burbank? So my man took it on the chair like a G. He just kind of stood back a little bit. His body English relaxed. He took his hand off his service weapon and basically kind of like turned his head up. And then he was like, no, I don't. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I felt really stupid because it was one of those things. As soon as I said it, I wanted to take it back, And so I felt really stupid. So then I just asked him simply. I was like, oh, by the way, do you know if the fire is contained as far as it approaching Burbank any closer? Are they pushing it back out? What's the status on it? And he basically said that the fire is actually getting pushed back out due to the way the wind is blowing the fire. And they're kind of making a wall of water as far as the helicopters dropping all that exhaust water onto the fire itself. Extinguisher chemicals onto the fire itself. And so, after that, I was like, okay, have a good night, officer. Stay safe. And I got out of there so fast. So here's what you would think I would do, right? Had a close run-in with the law. It wasn't threatening. It was just kind of intimidating. And then it turned from intimidating to stupid. So you think I would go home, right? I saw the fire. My mans tell me it's okay. It's safe. Think I would go home, right? Oh, no. I turn down the next residential street, and then I turn up a couple more streets, and I drive closer to the fire. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you go home? Why didn't you just go home? It's 3:30 in the morning. I'm driving through this damn near gated community, and there's a fire going on, right? Why don't you go home, Alex? Well, I'm ignorant, first of all. Secondly, I'm kind of obsessed with fire from a safe distance. I kind of like the way fire looks. It's pretty, as long as it's not harming people and harming all the poor little animals that it was probably destroying their habitat. But anyways, back on subject. So I drive through the neighborhood a little bit more, don't see any more cops, and I don't see the fire anymore, but I can smell it, and I can see the glow of where the fire should be off in the distance. And next thing you know, I come around this corner, and oh my God, I end up somewhere close to Burbank High School, and you could see the fire on top of the mountain behind that high school. it looked like the entire mountaintop was on fire. And I'm talking about, imagine having a like a version of a mud cake. So chocolate, crunchy, like rocky looking textured cake in the shape of a mountain, and on top of it is thousands and thousands and thousands of birthday candles lighting the sky up. It was so crazy. And then what was even scarier was you could see how relatively close the houses were to the fire. Now, if the wind shifted in the other direction at all, that fire would have came down the mountains and it would have burnt down the houses in the neighborhood. It would have burnt down the AMC Theater in Burbank, the comedy clubs in Burbank, Ralph's in Burbank. It was just truly, truly intimidating and humbling to just see the power of God and the ignorance of us building up all this land in the freaking desert and thinking that fires wouldn't be a thing one day. But in all, that was scary. Definitely prayed about that. So we get through the fire. After the fires pop off, Texas announces that they got a hurricane coming to blow everything over. That hurricane came and definitely did its thing. I don't even have to speak to you about the amount of damage that did. And then Florida got beat up real bad. Also, Florida Keys and everything down there under it got really beat up. And then Mexico had its earthquake, and then a hurricane's coming in behind that. And then in California, where I live as well, we have the earthquake pop off, I think, last week, and it was like a 3.6, which isn't big, but it's big to me because I didn't grow up dealing with earthquakes. That scares the living mess out of me. And so all of that to say, that's been stressing me out. That's been something kind of like freakish going on. It's just Mother Nature, in addition to North Korea, in addition to our current president, who I have an opinion about, but yeah, I think you could tell by the tone in my voice, I'm not going to really dive into that, but I think you understand where I stand on that. So yeah, the world is a very scary place right now. Oh, and last but not least, I saw a video today on Facebook. I wish I had the link. It was in Kentucky. It was at like this outdoor food truck festival thing, I think. But basically, my man recorded it, and if he faked this is really good editing, but it's just the authenticity of the audience around him and the video quality itself. I don't think it was faked, but I'm not an expert in that field at all. But basically, what happened is they're at this outdoor food truck fest, and my man is like talking, and then he catches it on video. This like beam of light just illuminates in the sky, and it's way off in the distance somewhere. And so, whatever. It could be a plane. They just picked up on it. It could be a helicopter that just cut its lights on. I don't know. I sound stupid right now trying to explain what it could be, but you get the picture. But then, as they're watching it, the thing like glides and then comes to a sudden stop. Like it zooms and then it just stops on a dime, in its location, and it's still way off in the distance. But then after it does that, the light separates into two different lights. So now this one glowing light is now two, and they're glowing parallel to each other. And so then these things like glow, and then they move in air in this very unnatural way that a plane would be able to move, or a helicopter would be able to move. It was definitely some kind of like hovering situation where this thing like does a half O shape in air as it goes from its current elevation to a higher elevation. So just imagine it curving up and then going north a little bit. So then once it does that, these two things still align symmetrically, and then those two glowing lights break off into their own two glowing lights. So now there's four glowing lights, and then this fifth glowing light illuminates in the background a little bit. And I was like, what the actual hell is going on? So we got the natural disasters, we got the aliens, and honestly, I'm blaming our president, and I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, so that's the things, that's the ugly, that's the bad and the ugly. The good going on right now is just been so busy with paying editing gigs that I haven't even been able to put up any Sims videos in the last 2 weeks. And it's a very good thing, because that's what I've been trying to do. Is I want to get out of my regular 9 to 5 corporate bore fest of a job and get paid to edit videos and get paid for my movie scripts. And so my movie scripts are a work in progress. That's way down the line. But my editing is finally getting me looks that are turning into paying jobs. And you know what? I'll save the details of how I came about on this edit for my next build video, because it's a very fun, very good story. So make sure you check out my fancy pool build, and you'll get that story as well. And now we arrive at the finished product of the aquarium house. This house is on my AlexTheAbstact profile for download from the Sims gallery. So you will end up coming in and walking through what is like a pool locker room of a lobby. And as you can see, it is all swimming pool. It is all swimming pool minus the cars to your right. So if you were to go to the actual pool lounge area first, we will walk up the stairs and boom, you got your towels for drying off. You got your very, very cinematic view of the waterfront with the little lighthouse in the back. We got a neighbor over there who has a really cool house themselves. And so the only problem I had with this house is to get from the indoor lobby to the actual lounge area requires you to swim. And that kind of drives me crazy, but I addressed that later. I thought I could build a bridge and I didn't figure out how to without separating the pool in total. So over here is the food area, or the food lounge area. We got the bar facing the pool. We got the little table area right there where you get a scenic view. I can only imagine how great it must feel to be out here on a hot day and have that breeze coming off that ocean water right there. And as you saw, we have the cook station. Also, you got your game little center right there. You got your karaoke. And then just for my wife, I always have to find a way to create a mini library, if not a major library, in every house. And here, she has her little book stand area right outside across from the cooking area. So imagine getting your food, getting a nice book, and just straight up chilling outdoors on a warm Saturday day. I don't know where I was going with that. So you want to dry off, want to change, want to get a shower. You don't have to go all the way downstairs to the basement. You come downstairs to the actual pool bath. And in here, you got your bathroom, you got your shower, we got the hamper on the ground for the wet towels and the wet clothes, you got a change area, you got a lot going on. And then also in the floor of the pool, you can see that we have a see-through dance floor that I'm using as kind of like a sky roof for the actual kitchen itself, where you can be in the kitchen eating and seeing people swim. And on days nobody's swimming, I imagine it must be really cool to just look up and see, see the pool from the bottom up. How cool would that be? All right. So right here, looks like I had some control struggles. Let me get it together. This is all pre-recorded in case you didn't know. So here we are. I'm walking down the stairs backwards for whatever reason. And we go into the living room. Oh, that's a lie. That is a lie. What the hell am I doing? What am I doing? Where are we going? Okay, so we go into the living room. I don't think I changed anything in the living room. It's the same old living room. Really kind of cool, kind of modern. And then from the living room, you would cut a nice little right and go into the kitchen. I did add some snack stuff in the kitchen, some cooking utilities in the kitchen. Again, I love that piece of artwork. I hate that I can't see the pool from this view, but you get the picture. If I hit the page up so you can see it, you get the picture. We got a ceiling fan downstairs, and I don't know. I think it's a cool concept. I just wonder the difficulty of hooking up water and heat and electricity under a swimming pool so that your kitchen functions. So we go into the master bedroom, and it's like a modern, to me, it looks like a photo studio, which is kind of, I don't know. I think I got into the groove and decided I'm going to if IKEA made a photography bedroom, this is what it would look like. So that's that bedroom. And then we go into the bath downstairs, and, I don't think I changed anything besides I put the chalk decoration up on the walls and upgraded the toilet. And then we go into the Poison Ivy dream room, as I would label it. And this is a bedroom that I feel like Poison Ivy would have had as a child. I don't think I really need to explain it. And if you don't know who Poison Ivy is, you're pretty much dead to me. So in all, this is the aquarium house. As you can see, I think it came out very well. I had a lot of fun building it. I had a lot of fun doing the challenge. And all the people who actually came and checked out the challenge video while it was live, I thoroughly enjoyed you all. Okay, hey, go ahead, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Leave me some comments below. And if you want more details on how the challenge actually works, I would love to send you to my previous video. But if you don't feel like doing all that, ask questions below and I'll respond with the rules, and we can get this thing trending. I would love to make that a trending situation. But in the meantime, I'm AlexTheAbstact. It's been fun. I'm signing out. Catch you in my next video.